Brighton beat Manchester City back in November, and the two sides meet at the Etihad Stadium in a crucial match in the battle for Champions League qualification, with Brighton in 7th place and City in 5th.
We have to reach the best, highest possible level to qualify for Europe next season, definitely. So we have to be consistent as much as possible. We know that we have 10 games left, 6 at home, 4 away. And at home we have a tough games like Brighton, like will be, of course, Aston Villa, Bournemouth, and you know most of the games are really tough, and we have to do it better, because there are many teams in this target, and we miss an important chance last week that we deserve, because we do things that we are not like we define in the past as a team. At the end, we concede few. The goal and other action that Eddie saved, no more than that. In the team like have been really good, but still of that we are not like we are. So that's why when I don't like the way we played and we don't win, it's fine. So I like to deserve the success. I like to deserve what we win, and so far that game we didn't deserve it.
I think I'm not in a position to make a comment about the situation or the season from City. I really focus on the game tomorrow and our situation. And like I said before, I still see City as one of the best teams in the league, with one of the best managers in the league, and that's our challenge tomorrow, to go there, to have the belief in ourselves to beat them, to have the joy in our bodies to really try to outwork and outrun them, to play with intensity, because without that, we won't have a chance there, and that's what we really try to focus on.
So Fabian Hürzeler more keen to focus on Brighton and the situation they are in at the moment, and it's a great situation to be in. 6 on the spin in all competitions. Another win over City puts them right in the mix for Champions League football.
Yeah, this is really big for Brighton. Obviously, like you say, on a good run, but I think it's even bigger for Manchester City. There's teams queuing up to take them over. The pressure's definitely on Manchester City. As far as Brighton are concerned, Fabian Hürzeler hit the nail on the head for me there. Intensity. And it's really difficult for these young coaches because they all idolise Pep Guardiola. They all grew up basing their philosophies and their ideas on Pep. So I think they're all in a bit of awe of him sometimes when they come across him, which you are when you meet your heroes. But I just hope they go for the jugular of Manchester City. I hope they play with intensity. I hope they really run at Manchester City and don't sit off and respect them. I mean, we see there, that was A to B, Mitoma goal of the season. Goal of the month, should I say. But the way that front four for Brighton are just kind of fluid, always willing to work forward. And there's the man of the moment, as far as I'm concerned, Danny Welbeck, has been absolutely outstanding. He's the more father figure in that front four. But yeah, Brighton in a really good moment, but it's going to be difficult up at the Etihad.
Yeah, describing Danny Welbeck as a father figure, I mean.
Well, he is. How old is he? 34? Is that not fair?
Sorry, there was just to follow on what Glenn has said, and the fact that Brighton are that front line is really, I mean, it's the whole team and the whole team effort, but the front line is really very fluid and it's eye-catching and attractive to watch.
And the reason why it could be an asset for Brighton in this game is because Kusanov is still learning the game. Walker's gone now, so they are 2 positions, right full-back and right centre-half, I should say, that are vulnerable, if you like, in that City defence. And we've seen teams take advantage of it before. They've conceded 38 goals so far this season. That's the most that they've ever conceded by this stage. I think, in fact, if they concede in this goal in this game, then that could go beyond defensively and negatively so what any Guardiola team has experienced since he's been at the Etihad. So Brighton with a real opportunity. They've got that industry in midfield, they've got that cutting edge up front. João Pedro's been doing fantastically well. But although we were joking about it, I think there is a Welbeck maturity that he brings to the party as well up front. And you can probably speak better to that than me.
Yeah, as far as when I get a look at Danny, I think first and foremost, you've got to kind of tip your hat towards Brighton Medical Department, because no club has ever been able to keep Danny fit for this length of time.
Yeah.
So he's primed, and I also think it leans into Danny's age as well. He kind of, at his age, he knows his body better than he ever has known it. So I think that there's that first and foremost, to get him playing week in, week out. But then I think in front of goal, I think he's become a better 9. I think he understands the position more. He was always more wing-based, coming off the wing, drifting in. He very much liked that kind of inverted run, didn't he, throughout his career. But now I see more of a clarity in front of goal, more calmness and coolness, and just being in that position. And what I feel more than ever in Danny's career, when that ball drops within 10 yards of the goal, I feel super confident he's going to hit the back of the net.
Yeah, João Pedro as well scored the winner against Fulham last time out. He's scored 3 in a row. No Brighton players ever scored in 4 Premier League games in a row. There's a couple of records and a little bit of history on offer in this game as well. But just so good is that front line that actually the Premier League goal of the month is a Brighton player. This really isn't any surprise, because we were just overawed by the first touch from Mitoma. And you referenced it earlier, Glenn, and then the finish as well. This was stunning.
This touch is so delicious, it should have a Michelin star. Honestly, it is
just one.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's just so tasty. And a lot of people are kind of, as we always do sometimes in football, we try to detract from it and take away from it and suggest he's lucky. No, that is skill. He watches the ball over his shoulder, he takes it on the run, he moves to his right-hand side, and then he has the composure to be able to dispatch it in the bottom left-hand corner. It's absolutely fantastic. I think that's the goal of the season.
I mean, for me, when you do a touch like that, it's about finishing the move off, unless it's forgotten about. It's irrelevant.
Yeah, of course.
But then obviously the second touch to kind of put the defender off balance, and then to have the composure to bend it in that bottom corner, then that gets the world talking.
So while Brighton are making all these they're on the verge of wonderful records and some history for the club, City on the wrong side of it. 9 defeats for Pep Guardiola's Manchester City. Pep has never lost 10 in a season. So he's on the verge of that. It could happen before the season ends. Still 10 rounds to go. As Glenn said, and rightly so, this match is so much more high pressure for City, because there are teams waiting to pounce.
They are, and they know that they're trying to bed in new players. Listen, this City side will be better next season. They will be stronger. Rodri will be back alongside Gonzalez to provide that protection for the back four. Marmoush looks pure gold. He's going to be fantastic next season. And there'll be other players come in during the summer as well. But at the moment, they're a defence that other teams are taking advantage of. Look at that. That's an example of what we were talking about, the fact that they don't yet have that organisation in their back line, and opposition teams are able to take advantage. You've got goalkeepers trying to give defenders the confidence and the organisation, and you've got opposition teams, while that's happening, basically filling their boots.
They've lost that fear factor.
Yeah.
I think for a long time teams wouldn't attack Manchester City through fear of getting counter-attacked again, and sort of opening up those spaces and letting your Phil Fodens get in those pockets and dictate play. But now there's a real fragility about City that people believe they can get at, and that goes back to the point I made about Fabian Hürzeler approaching the game with intensity, not sitting off and letting City have the ball and show how good they are, because they're still a top team. It's about trying to get at their weak spots, and like we say, goalkeeper, defenders, they're not quite settled at the moment.
I think opposition teams know they will score goals. Haaland will score goals. He's still competing for the Golden Boot. Marmoush will score goals, and there are other players in the front line who might score goals, although Foden's having nowhere near the season he had last time around. There are 1 or 2 players. Savinho will score you a goal. Doku will as well. But I think opposition team, particularly like Brighton, know that even if they do, you can hurt them at the back, because they are so unsteady and uncertain, so fragile and so in transition, if you like. They're going to be better next time, but this time around they're there for the taking.